All right. Suspense. We're back again. We missed what? We missed 2 weeks. We missed 2 weeks because our schedules were very out of line last week. And the week before I had COVID. I had COVID bad. And I had COVID in 2023 and it was bad. And it just wasn't what we wanted to see for a podcast. We didn't like the look, and so we skipped.
First person to have COVID, a confirmed case of COVID in 2023. Ryan Galloway, give it up. Give it up.
I thought it was gone. It came back. And that's twice I've had it. Twice I've beaten it. I'm 2-0 against COVID. I'm just telling you right now, doing numbers, COVID's scared of me. He hate me, He hates me.
With a vengeance, COVID came back for you because you've had your share.
I've had more
3 years.
Share.
You've had your share.
Yep.
You're not touch and go with COVID. You like to get it, marinate in it. Week later, I text you. You're still, you're like dying. You're like, you want to record? You're like, fighting demons. And I understand it's not the look, like you said. It's probably not safe to do a podcast, albeit virtual. I don't want to talk to you when you're sick.
So. No, you don't. I'm miserable when I'm sick. And then I remember I was live texting you because I thought I had the flu. I had a fever. I felt like garbage, and then I had my roommate because I was like almost bedridden. I was too sick to leave. Like it was just bad. Not a good situation. And so I text my roommate. I'm like, hey man, I'm really sick. Could you bring me Whataburger? Shout out Whataburger. Could you bring me a nice juicy double meat with cheese? You know what I'm saying? And he does. He's a very nice guy. I love him to death. He brought me a burger. I'm excited. I unwrap it. Take a big bite of this burger. Can't taste a thing, which was disappointing. And then I was like, my second thought was, I better not have COVID. I got myself one of those like self-swab kits.
Yeah.
You swab it in your nose. It takes 15, 20 minutes to let you know.
Sure.
Took 3 minutes, bright red positive line. I had proper COVID. Like I was infested with it, man.
It's related. I just want you to know, man, if you ever need, I'd swab you.
I appreciate that,
I'd swab you, man.
That's the effort I want out of anyone who's in my life.
I would swab you.
If you're not willing to, if you're not willing to give me a COVID test, what are we doing here?
You know what? I'm going to give us a little bit of slack, right? Because, at this point, what are we talking about, right? It's basketball season. We're in the lull of, we're not in spring training yet. It's this weekend. Getting kind of excited. We're going to Boston next month. We're going to get to check them out on opening weekend. I'm thrilled. Even though, we'll get into it a little bit later. Not the brightest spot for our Red Sox to be in, but still excited. But football's been over. We had the depressing season ending episode. We did that. And it's All-Star weekend, right? We had All-Star break, a nice, good 8 days or so off, and we're going to get back into the swing of things tomorrow. I think we've got Orlando. Don't fact check me on that.
I hope to God we don't.
I hope to God we don't. I'd rather play Milwaukee. But I'm excited, and this is a good time to come back into it because, took off just the amount of time we needed. You're healthy. I'm healthy.
You're healthy?
Is Will healthy?
Will was on TV tonight, so I'm assuming he's healthy.
If Will was on TV tonight and he still records this or still edits this podcast tonight, you go, Will.
Shout out Will. Love that guy. And also, just real quick before we get into the sports, shout out Dr. Schooler at the University of Texas because he not only promoted the podcast today, I hope he's listening right now, but he's a really awesome guy. And I think he's one of my favorite professors I've had. And he's fantastic. Hope he's listening. Hope he's enjoying. A lot of love for Dr. Schooler on this podcast.
Larry Legend. Legend. How about that? You like that?
I like that.
Yeah. I am familiar with your game, Mr. Schooler.
All right.
I am. All right. And it was cool. I saw that picture going around Instagram. I think another Texas buddy of ours, Joe, shared it and tagged us and stuff. So that was cool to see. We did miss the trade deadline, which if you're a Celtics fan, and you are, if you're listening to this, you're either Larry Legend or you're a Celtics fan. And you know how we do. We keep it quiet. We keep it quiet at the deadline. We stand pat. The notorious Danny Ainge stand pat move has now been, well, I would actually say we got to give credit where it's due. Trader Brad has kind of stepped up at the deadline the past 2 years.
Yeah,
like that?
Yes. I like that.
I mean, we cannot forget the Derek White move last year, which has panned out. I mean, has it taken some years off of my life? Potentially, but recently he's blossomed. He's shown just exactly what we wanted. And then this year, we got like Danilo Gallinari's like weird like alternate in Mike Muscala, a 7-footer who can shoot threes. Okay, so I don't know why there was so much hate. I just saw a lot of it for that move. And you know what? So what if he wears cement shoes on defense? So what if he couldn't guard you or me? It doesn't matter. He's 7 feet tall. He shoots the 3-ball well. So I'm excited for it. What did you think about the deadline?
Exactly. I thought it was really good. I wasn't expecting us to make a move at all. And then we traded for Muscala, and it was really, really favorable to us. It was, I don't even remember what we gave up. I think we gave up Justin Jackson and a couple picks, second-round picks or something, if that. And I really like it. He came in, made an instant impact on offense, albeit not on defense. But, he is what this team has been missing in that consistent spot-up, knockdown shooter. He's been fantastic, especially with Gallinari out. And then, Gallinari might make it back for the playoffs. But even then, coming off an ACL at his age, what do we get? I don't know. And he's obviously been declining. So while I'm excited to have him back, and he could play a pretty solid role on this team, he could do well in his spot. I'm really excited about Muscala. I think it's a good move, and I will always be a proponent of shooters who can space the floor.
And you forgot to mention the absolute disappearance of Sam Hauser, who died in the month of January, has somewhat revived himself in the month of February.
The resurrection?
Remember that Bucks game where it was the Bucks bench versus the fully healthy, whereas the Celtics bench versus the fully healthy Bucks?
Oh, yeah.
And remember, you know Bucks fans, right? You know how they've sworn up to us for the past, almost, we're coming up on a year, how if Middleton was healthy, they would have beaten us in the playoffs last year.
That's what they say,
right?
You've heard that
before a time.
I've heard that.
He was out there. He was out there, and you know what? I give the Bucks credit. They won the game. But did they really? If you get pushed to overtime, and we controlled, we can't say the whole game. We did lose. But Blake Griffin and Derek White and Sam Hauser and Grant Williams, step back Grant, was controlling the pace of that game. And Sam Hauser was awesome, and he had been kind of coming into that for a little bit in the month of February. I hope he carries it through because I really love him. I love his game. I think Muscala was kind of insurance against the fact that Grant tapered off a little bit. Hauser tapered off a little bit. Al obviously doesn't play the back-to-backs. Kind of just insurance in that role, and I think he's been good in the limited minutes we've seen him, albeit that. And everybody loves him. Thunder fans were like, they're not really in a contending spot, but they're like, oh, it sucks to see him go because, he's just raved about as awesome locker room guy, awesome guy to root for. And so I think this is just a really fun Celtics team to root for, and I'm glad we kept Gallinari because I don't think he's going to play for us this year, but everybody loves him. You and I have seen it firsthand. When he dressed up he looked like Woody from Toy Story when he came to San Antonio. Full cowboy boots and all cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. So the vibes are immaculate in the Celtics locker room.
I think a big part also is the fact that we didn't trade Gallinari, who obviously tore his ACL in the summer. Big bummer. We thought it was going to, that was one of the many things going on in the offseason for the Celtics that made us a little bit pessimistic for the year. But I would say that keeping Gallinari is so big for this team because not necessarily what he's going to do on the floor, not even what he brings to the locker room, which is obviously a lot. Everybody loves him. But, this is the same team that traded Isaiah Thomas when he was hurt and his sister died and he gave us his all. And this is the same team that has consistently screwed over players in a lot of situations. And now we have a guy who we could trade. There's a market for him, especially when he comes back. And he's been rehabbing with us. We've been hopefully very good to him. He's been fantastic to have. And it was really awesome, and I think it's a big step for us to not trade him away, to keep him, say we're committed to you, we're committed to your recovery and to what you can bring us on the floor this postseason, next season. And players are going to see that, and players are going to say, oh, these guys in Boston do right by their players. I want to go play there. I want to go play with Tatum. I want to go play under Brad, under Joe Mazzulla. It's a big step forward for this org.
Insert applause. Because Joe Mazzulla, perfect timing for the All-Star break. He's coaching the Team Giannis, and he gets promoted or gets, announced as the head coach, and I'm just excited for that. I know we both probably had our gripes up until this point, but he's a rookie head coach, and we're the number one seeded team in the entire NBA in his first season. I'm excited. It was so clear and evident we could not keep Udoka around any longer. It just, and I know now he's kind of getting looked at by Atlanta, who just, we're not going to talk about this, but side note, how many coaches can Trae Young get fired before he inevitably asks for a trade out of Atlanta? Seriously. I mean, is this the third one? Maybe it's four, counting all the interim guys.
Put in that picture of Vince Carter saying, I got one more in me.
He's got one more. He's definitely got at least one more. God help the man that they hire next. It's ridiculous. It just makes me grateful to have unproblematic stars,
Yeah, it's fantastic. It feels
unproblematic stars, and I'm so grateful for it. But congrats, Joe Mazzulla.
Congrats, Joe Mazzulla. Obviously, the Ime Udoka thing. That's not how we envisioned it going, not how any of us wanted it to end. You hate to see something like that, and I don't know whether or not Udoka will be hired again. Probably. I'm sure. If I were a betting man, I'd say he would be. He will have another head coaching job just based on his success. And I really hope that he's learned from that situation. Obviously, we never received necessarily all the facts, but it was still a very not great look for anyone involved. And obviously from that, you want to see both parties move forward for the better.
It was just an unfortunate situation that happened. Like I said, we weren't there. We don't know. But from what we can gather, it was just something that was just unfortunate because of the position we were in, the position he was in, the position he helped us get to. No doubt we wouldn't be here without the help that he brought to us last year. But I think it's really good to set the tone moving forward for the rest of the season. It's a buy-in from Wick. It's a buy-in from ownership. It's a buy-in from Brad. Hey, here are the keys. And it also, I think it shows the guys. I think it shows Jason. I think it shows Jalen, Marcus, all those guys. I think it shows them, hey, we believe in this guy. So listen to him because this is as good as it gets. And there's been little tidbits of Mazzulla said he was, it was like it was just a random interview, and he was asked like what he did one night. I don't know. He said he was out to dinner with friends, and then later it came out that Jason Tatum was one of those friends he was out to dinner with. And I thought that was really cool because it's like these guys hang out now, like officially off the floor. Like when your star player and your head coach are getting along like that, I think it's
always a good sign.
I think it's pretty telling. So that was kind of our trade deadline. We didn't, like I said, we didn't do much. Got Mike Muscala, the shooter. I love it. Another move happened in the NBA. Brooklyn Nets, our once potential rival. I mean, we've played each other in each of the last two playoffs. Kyrie Irving, famously, or infamously, a Boston Celtic at one point, traded to Dallas. Kevin Durant moved to Phoenix. in a whirlwind of events that we kind of saw coming a little bit, but both trades were kind of like out of the blue. Like, what are your immediate thoughts just on Brooklyn? Because they've been hot on us all season. Obviously, I think this pretty much takes them out of being contenders, right?
Yeah.
They ended up getting a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Kyrie, plus Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. And then for Kevin Durant, they got the 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, Mikal Bridges. What do you think about that return? What do you like about Brooklyn going forward?
So before they traded KD, when they just traded
Kyrie
to the Mavs for Dinwiddie and
DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yes. For those two in the picks, honestly, I thought to myself when we talked on the phone about this, I said, am I crazy to say that they got better? Because Dinwiddie in Brooklyn made some magic. Dorian Finney-Smith, obviously a solid role player, like that guy a lot. And then you still have Kevin Durant. You have Ben Simmons, who may or may not figure it out at that point. And then you had a relatively decent supporting cast. I thought that they would still be in contention. I was like, this is a good move for both sides. You finally give Luka that star that he's needed. It sucks it had to be that star, but is what it is. And I thought that it could have been a very promising thing. And then obviously they trade Kevin Durant to the Suns for Mikal Bridges, and at that point I'm realizing, okay, they're not looking to win at this point. But I think that it suggests a larger issue, that because remember, this is a common theme. James Harden requested a trade last year. Kevin Durant requested a trade last year. And they've had a lot of success on the court. So that has to indicate there might be something going on in the front office, behind the scenes, that players, especially star players who have a say in where they are and what they put up with, don't like. Okay, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. And then you have Kyrie reacting to the Durant trade saying, oh, glad he finally got out of there. And then I forget what Harden said in so many words, but he was essentially said the same sentiment. So I think that there's a big issue in the locker room or in the front office where it just feels like there has to be a toxic culture in Brooklyn, because you're winning a lot of games. You're hot on the tail of the first team in the East, and your star players want out. They say no more, no mas. I think it's a larger indicator of a problem in Brooklyn.
Those are all very fair points. I give that train of thought a real large piece of credit, because I do trust Kevin Durant. I do trust James Harden, right? Now you can say James Harden bullied his way out of 2 teams in like the matter of like 6 months. But to be fair, the Houston thing was inevitable. They were bad, right? They were bad. They weren't going to get any better. They didn't promise him that they were going to go get another star. So you saw that one coming. He had played there for 8 years, right? But then he gets to Brooklyn. Then he asks out pretty much almost right away. And you're like, okay, this has got to be a Harden thing. Well, then you get to the summertime, this past summer, and then Kevin Durant asks out, like you said. And now I'm starting to think of the same thing. It's like, I don't want to give Kyrie any credit because of how he burned Cleveland and how he burned Boston. I just instantly think this is a Kyrie thing. And I think that's part of it. And we're going to give Mavs fans their fair warning here. Hey, don't get too attached, because things can spiral very quickly with them. But
feels like we've been here before.
You're onto something there with the Brooklyn thing. But you're right about that. The team almost, I kind of loved that team with Durant. They got Finney-Smith, who's an excellent on-ball defender. They get Dinwiddie, who's been in Brooklyn before. And I'm not saying they got better, but that team was damn good. Mm-hmm. And I still think they're good. And I think, they traded all their picks to Houston in the Harden thing. So they don't have an incentive. They're not incentivized to tank going forward, but they did get a bunch of picks from other teams. So they kind of have this thing where they might even be able to do like a Celtics rebuild almost. Remember when we weren't really ever tanking, but we were getting those picks because we had the Nets picks. And so they've got all these other teams' picks, like Dallas and Phoenix. Do you think Phoenix is guaranteed to be good in 2027?
I mean, those probably bet money that they're not.
Those could be damn good picks. Like those could turn out being extremely valuable. And that's kind of why I'm hesitant to crown Phoenix. I mean, of course, we're not going to crown Phoenix the champs, right? Of course not. We think our team's we are the best. You have to come see us. You have to come see Milwaukee. You have to come see Golden State first. I don't like this idea that, look, they got a kick-ass roster. But at the time of the trade, Chris Paul was just coming back from injury, not having a great season. Devin Booker, still out. Kevin Durant, still out. I know they're going to come back, but at the time of the trade, 3 of your best guys are in and out of the lineup. And I'm just hesitant.
Chris Paul's best years are behind him.
Clearly, have been.
And I feel like we've seen that decline become a lot steeper in recent times. DeAndre Ayton, I'm still not sold on the guy. I've seen what he can do. I've also seen what he can do. And I know there's been issues with him in Phoenix. Devin Booker has kind of proven to the world over the past 2-3 years that while he's a superstar, he's clearly a rung below your Jason Tatums, Luka Doncic's, and the other guys who are going to usher us into the new era of the NBA. He's not in the upper echelon of those top guys. He's still incredible, very good talent. He's the star in Phoenix, or was. And there's nothing, I'm not taking away from anything he is as a player. But I look at this team, and Mikal Bridges, I think he was the most important player on their team. And now he's gone. And obviously, any team that adds Kevin Durant gets better. But does adding KD to that team make them title favorites? I don't think so. I think I still like the Nuggets over them.
I do too.
I might even like the Clippers over them.
Some people do. Some do. I was higher on the Clippers prior to yesterday when they signed Russell Westbrook, and
I'm higher on them.
You're higher on him.
Yeah.
You like Westbrook he gets to stay in LA. He just walks down to the other locker room. You like it?
I like Westbrook for Paul George. Paul George had his best year with Westbrook. That happened.
Do you think Russell Westbrook is Paul George's security blanket?
Maybe.
Do you think he like
this little baby?
You know how a baby kind of snuggles, that favorite toy or that favorite blanket?
Yeah. You had that little Domo doll.
I had that little Domo. I had a Domo shirt. There are photos. Don't look.
There are, unfortunately. Yeah. No, I have one.
Don't look. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just call it. We'll just agree to disagree on the Westbrook thing, and we'll come back to it. Maybe you'll make me eat my words. But you're right. I like so many other teams ahead of Phoenix right now. Obviously, I like Kevin Durant. I love Kevin Durant. When healthy, he's one of the 3 best players in the NBA. It's hard to say Kevin Durant's been healthy a lot for the past 3 years. Hasn't played more than 60 games, and I think since the Achilles in Golden State. So, rooting for them to an extent. As a pure basketball fan, it could be beautiful to watch. If they get the most out of Chris Paul, if they get the most out of Devin Booker, they will. Booker's awesome. And if Durant's healthy, this could be awesome from a pure basketball standpoint. I still like us, obviously. And I still like Denver. I still like, I'm not giving up on Golden State. I haven't been so high on them this year, but they're the champs, and you gotta face them at some point. They're gonna be there. I hope. I mean, well, not that I hope, but you'd like to see Steph Curry in the playoffs. You'd like to see Steph Curry in the playoffs.
You like to see LeBron James.
You want to see that.
It's the same thing.
You want to see guys be healthy. So Phoenix will be interesting. They're going to be the most interesting thing to watch going forward. We've already seen what Kyrie and Luka looked like together. It's okay. Offensively, it's really cool. It's really cool offensively. It's still a little clunky. They still kind of stare at each other sometimes and just like pass the ball back and forth. Happens. It's going to happen. Defensively, it's a nightmare. It's terrible. They can't guard anybody. They can't guard anybody, dude. Maybe they figure that out. Maybe there's a buyout guy. I don't know. I lost your video. You with me?
Oh, no, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You're here. Well, let's quickly dive into the All-Star weekend. You and I both know it sucks. Sometimes we get lucky. In 2020, we had an awesome game. Now, was that maybe because players were fired up? We had the Kobe Bryant trophy named after Kobe, who had passed away that year. Was that why? I think it was part of it. And it was a beautiful game because we really played with that effort, and it was a really good way to it was the first time that it felt like we were normal again after Kobe's passing that year. As far as, watching games, it was cool to see all the stars gathered together. But since then, we haven't had a memorable All-Star game. Lord knows we haven't had a memorable dunk contest. I'm sorry. I don't know how you feel about it. Mac McClung winning. I'm so tired of the people are saying he saved the dunk contest.
I disagree.
I watched it. I disagree. It's cool. He was awesome. He brought great energy. I'm not mad that he won it. I'm not mad that he was there. That's got to be a superstar there, though. I'm sorry. That's got to be a superstar there. There has to be a player, Mr. Too Tough, John Morant, who doesn't want to do anything. But it's Zion, it's Anthony Edwards, it's all these bouncy guys. Jaylen Brown could do a dunk contest. But frankly, it's just not been good. I mean, how much of the All-Star weekend as a whole did you get to see?
I watched that terrible.
That's if you made the effort. I mean, you did.
I watched the terrible skill challenge. I watched the first half of the All-Star game itself. And I did watch, I was finishing up some work, but I was tuning into the dunk contest. And my initial thoughts were, McClung was a lot of fun to watch. He was doing cool stuff. He's this 5'11" white dude. He was entertaining.
He's 6'2".
Oh, okay. Well, then I've been
but
however,
5'11" sounds
my point
cool.
remains. Yeah, exactly. He was 5'6", and my point remains. He was entertaining, but the whole time I was like, this guy's not an NBA player. He's never going to be an NBA player. No. He's just not that caliber of a basketball player. Yeah, he's a great dunker. So if that's all it takes, then let's go to YouTube, find the best dunkers, and just send them on out to Salt Lake City, and let's have ourselves a night, right? And so I just feel like it cheapens it because I miss the days of Blake Griffin jumping over the car, Dwight Howard when he was in his prime doing the Superman. Stuff like that. It was awesome. It was cool to see your favorite players compete at dunking the basketball, and you had NBA legends judging it. That was so cool, and we've deviated from that, obviously, fairly recently. The Zach LaVine and the Aaron Gordon, obviously, that's incredible stuff. But so I agree with you that it wasn't good. However, I will say the All-Star game sucks. It's a problem. I feel like it's a problem in most sports outside of the MLB. It's not good. Tatum dropping 55 was a lot of fun. Brown 35, and then the Tatum versus Brown moment was a lot of fun. And so most people listening to this podcast, and you and I included, most Celtics fans, we loved that aspect of it. It was a lot of fun, but it's gotten to this point, and we saw it start several years ago, and it's only gotten worse. No defense, slobs, stupid shots, just not a game of basketball. The idea of the All-Star game is to have the best players in the league play a game of basketball with and against each other. And obviously you have players afraid of injuries, this and that. And obviously that makes sense to an extent. But you got to do something. You got to have a way to make it something people care about. Can't wait to tune into the All-Star game. I remember growing up, every year, I would order Domino's pizza, get myself a soda, sit down and watch the All-Star game by myself on a school night, just in the dark, doing my thing. And it was like some of my fondest memories growing up as a kid, as a basketball fan. I loved it, and I miss it. So, do you have any ideas, any thoughts on how we can get back to that happy little kid with his Dr. Pepper and his Domino's pizza, watching the best players in the league play basketball?
Firstly, you are still that happy little kid with a Dr. Pepper and the Domino's pizza. Maybe not on All-Star night anymore, but you are still that happy little kid. But to get it back, to unlock it on All-Star weekend, I don't know. I think that's the answer is I don't know. If you ask me right now, the way things are currently, the way we've been lacing them up and playing the All-Star game for the past, for the majority of the past decade, scrap it. I'd rather them just get rid of the game and be honest and just say, hey, we don't want to do it. And just get rid of it. Just be honest and just get rid of it. I don't even know what you would replace it with, if you would replace it. But these guys are so checked out. They don't care. Like, you want to be, like, we would still do this. We'd still name the All-Stars, right? Because mid-season, who's been
it's a big honor.
The best guys?
It's a big honor.
And it's an honor. And plus, it's already baked into so many contracts. It's an incentive, So we'll still name the All-Stars. But hey, if it's going to be like this, get rid of it. Seriously, I would rather us get rid of it than play it out. I don't want to watch these guys pretend like they want to be there. As soon as that game's over, they cannot wait to get out of there. And, I'm not going to knock them. That's a long season. They want to go take the rest of the break, which is like 4 or 5 days, and they want to go enjoy it. And I understand. But it is an honor to be an All-Star, and I'd like to see some effort. And we have these guys who are we think they're so competitive, and then they get this stage, and I don't know if it's out of fear of being, made fun of by their peers, but they don't want to try. And I know it's also an injury thing, and if it comes down to that, then just forget it, just scrap it. But could we maybe incentivize these guys? I mean, the winning team gets $100,000. Every player gets $100,000. Now, for you and me, I'm going and playing some ball. Okay? For them, for even the guys who are younger, for the Halliburtons and the Markkanens, it's still not enough. And, look, the NBA's got a crap ton of money, dude. And I'm not saying we need to pay these guys even more, but let's pay these guys even more, dude. Would they get up for $1 million each? I don't know. Maybe. What would they get up for? You got to talk to them, man. I don't know. At some point, we'd have to draw a line, and these contracts are already getting bigger and bigger. So some of these guys may hear $1 million, and they just may roll their eyes like, okay, whatever. But I don't know, man. And the way it's all structured, and I like the ending with the target score. It's fun. It's okay. It's really cool. Like in 2020, when you go into the fourth quarter and it's a close game. I don't like the every quarter is a game now, and it's for charity, and that's cool. There's other ways to give to charity besides just tarnishing basketball. Like at the start of every quarter, it starts from 0. And then at the end of every quarter, we're supposed to pretend like it matters who wins. It's like, it doesn't. Let's be honest. It doesn't. The money's going to charity either way. That's great. Let's do something good with this weekend. But I'm supposed to get excited about, oh my God, who's going to win the third quarter? It's like, who's going to win the game, dude? I don't know. All in all, the effort's not there. I think the incentivizing thing really ties into the dunk contest because the winner of the dunk contest, Mac McClung, only got $100,000. For him, that's a pretty big deal. For John Morant or Anthony Edwards or Zion, it's like, once
Not a
again,
big deal at all.
not enough to get out of bed for. So maybe the winner gets a new car and $1 million. Okay, and I don't know. I feel like if I'm Ja and I'm pushing a new shoe, I feel like Nike would be pushing them. I feel like Zion, who's a Jordan athlete, would have Jordan maybe breathing down his neck like, hey, I did the dunk contest and you are not too cool. You're not better than me. So you can go do a dunk contest and sell some shoes. But I don't know. I feel like we're going to be having this conversation every year. And I'm with you. I love it. I want to love All-Star Weekend again. But right now it sucks. But hey, shout out to Utah for being the most skilled team in the NBA. In the skills challenge. You go, guys. Utah Jazz. Skilled.
You know, I was thinking about what I might say in terms of how we make All-Star Weekend matter, how we make players care, how we make ourselves care about the All-Star game again. And I don't think it exists under the current format. And so then I was like, okay, well, you know what, let's just get rid of it. You know, and then I was afraid of what that might look like because the Pro Bowl's a mess now. It's terrible. It's worse than before, if that was even possible. And so I said, okay, we can't get rid of it. So we'll still name the All-Stars. It's an honor. I love seeing LeBron James 20-time All-Star. I love seeing that, right? Stuff like that. And I said, well, what if we did something like the All-Stars are named, they're honored, they're listed. And then we did something where I don't know how you would establish captains or what have you, but let's set them all up, do a little draft, and let's run a 3v3 tournament for all of them. That would be so much fun. I would watch that. The best players in the league, 3v3 tournament, first 21, like 2K Park, just run it. It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be different. I feel like players might be willing to be a little more competitive about that. And then I don't know what you make the prize, but you make it something. So whether it's philanthropic in nature or not, you know, I don't know. But that's the best answer I can give.
Awesome,
and it's still not great.
It would be awesome. Here's the thing. I also there seems to be this idea that a one-on-one contest could replace a dunk contest. How on earth are people? These players are so scared of getting embarrassed on a dunk contest because they missed a dunk. They're now going to sign up to play one-on-one against their peers? Hell no.
No.
These dudes
There's narrative
would be so terrified of getting crossed. Exactly. And
easy.
The 3-on-3 idea is cool, and I just question would they try? Would they care? For the events, something I heard that I liked a lot is we should draft, or not draft, but we should vote. Like as fans, you know, we vote on the All-Stars. And I feel like if you're a player and you're maybe 8-year plus guys or 10-year plus guys get to opt out. Like LeBron should not have to do the dunk contest at this point in his career, right? But if a young player, let's put like 10 guys on the dunk contest ballot. We'll vote on it like we vote for All-Stars. And maybe if you do it once, you can opt out in the future. I don't know. But why doesn't the NBA step up and say, you guys have to do stuff. Like, you have to do this. Sorry, it's part of making $200 million. Like, you have to do a dunk contest. Sorry, you have to do a 3-point contest, which everybody actually signs up pretty willingly for the 3-point contest, which has become the highlight of the weekend, honestly, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said we weren't going to talk about it much, but we feel strongly about it, and we want it to be good. We want it to be good, and it sucks that it's not. And it's the same thing for the NFL. The Pro Bowl is terrible, and MLB All-Star Game it's better because it's harder to not try in baseball. Like, you got to swing the bat, you know. You got to throw the pitch and you got to swing the bat. Real quick, this is what I want to say. You know, in baseball they had, you know, it's American versus National, and forever, the winner of the All-Star game in the MLB got home field advantage in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? How horrible of an idea that was, that an exhibition game. And I know we're trying to raise the stakes here. I understand that. But everybody's saying, let's go back to East versus West in the NBA and let's do that. I'm telling you, everybody saying that does not have a dog in the race, okay? I do not, as a Celtics fan, want our home court advantage to be determined by an exhibition game with players playing in the game who will not touch the finals. Lauri Markkanen, I love you. You are not playing in an exhibition game for the fate of my team in the finals. I just wanted to say that. That's a terrible idea.
That's a valid point.
Maybe we go back to East versus West, but that's a horrible idea. Scrap that. Anyways, we're through the All-Star break. We've got less than a half of a season to go. What are your expectations, thoughts on the Celtics going into these last little bit less than 30 games?
Well, it's going to be interesting. The East is back to full strength. Got a lot of players healthy. Chris Middleton being the main name that comes to my mind right now. We have a tough schedule coming up. We have a tough schedule to finish the season. We're healthy again, finally. And I'm excited. I think that we're going to finish the year strong. I think we win a lot of games. I'm going to go out on a limb, and it's not even that crazy of a limb, and say I think we still finish with the best record in the NBA. It's not going to be record-breaking, obviously. But it's going to be a very excellent record, best in the NBA. I think we go into the playoffs with a lot of momentum. The only thing I'm concerned about is the same thing that happened last year, which is Jason Tatum is playing a lot of minutes. And he had nothing left in the tank in the finals, and it showed big time.
For sure. And you're right. The East is healthy. The Sixers are healthy. Harden and Embiid, which, Embiid used to be a wild card. Embiid, pretty reliable guy. For the Bucks, Giannis is going to be there. Middleton, back, but not that impressive. Said it. Sorry. According to Tankathon, we have the 10th hardest remaining schedule, which I'm cool with that. I mean, it's almost like, when you consider it, there's contenders ahead of us who have harder schedules. I mean, really, namely Philly and what was once a contending Brooklyn, but also Atlanta, Miami, and the both New York teams have more difficult schedules according to remaining teams they have left to play. Fun fact for you that, on one hand it sucks, but on another, it's pretty awesome. Our famous five that we rolled out in the finals and got us to the finals last year of Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, and Rob.
Mm-hmm.
They've only played 29 minutes together on the floor this season.
That's crazy.
That's it.
That's crazy. That's not even a game.
Not even a full 48. No. It's bizarre. And I know we don't think about it because we've been blessed with I was thinking about it. I was like, we've had pretty good injury luck. Have we? Not really. I mean, Al plays in half the games, really. We know that. That's kind of a given. Rob missed so much of the start of the season, and then was kind of in and out of the lineup, and then he tweaked his ankle and then missed some more games, and now he's back. Brown missed a couple weeks. He missed the start of January with the groin hip thing, and then now he got hit in the face, and then he missed those 2 weeks. Tatum's been the one guy who's played nearly every game and kind of hit the nail on the head. He's playing a ton of minutes. That's why I kind of like getting Muscala as a depth option. Obviously doesn't really help the Tatum minutes directly, but having another guy I kind of am looking at the buyout market, and I kind of like Will Barton. I kind of like Will Barton as a guy who can come in right away, who's, punchy scoring off the bench. He's 6'6". He's kind of a long wing who can maybe just fill in 12 minutes a game. I kind of like it.
45 minutes and 3 seconds was the amount of time that it took you to mention Will Barton in this podcast. I was waiting for it. I knew it was going to come. We didn't talk about this beforehand, but I knew you were going to bring up Will Barton. And I'm here to tell you, I don't hate it.
Oh.
But
I got a little stamp of approval.
Minutes. He's going to take minutes away from Peyton Pritchard. So you keep that same energy when Fast PP's not playing.
You're right. But Fast PP is not 6'6", and has been a little. It's hard to say. It's hard to bash a guy for consistency when he just plays so few minutes. And look, he's going to be on a different team next year. I've expressed my love for Pritchard on this show a million different ways. It's not really a fit at this point. I still believe there, as currently constructed, there are still minutes for Pritchard, and maybe more than what he's getting. But he's the fourth best guard on this team. Well, if we're calling Brown a guard, then he's probably the fifth. You know what I mean? He's not better than White. He's not better than Smart. He's not better than Brogdon. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. The end of the bench stuff. We're a deep team. There are good players who are not getting minutes that they would get on other squads. We know that. I think that's part of why you and I are both so optimistic for the remainder of the season. Here's to getting healthier than we've been. Oh, we didn't even mention the Smart's missed a ton of time now. His first game back, very Smart, like 6 steals. We haven't been that healthy, and I kind of don't think about it because our 2 stars have been mostly healthy. Brown's missed a couple of weeks in total, and we're winning, and it's hard to remember that, hey, we've missed our guys for a lot of the season because you don't think about that stuff when you're winning. It's easy to point to those things when things are going so well.
Yeah.
Things are going pretty well.
And speaking of things going well, you were looking at the notes, and you saw that I said that we were the first team to 40 wins, so we were 40-16, and we meet Phil Jackson's contender rule, and you didn't know what that meant. So Phil Jackson...
Enlighten me.
Phil Jackson has said that in order for teams to be true contenders, and usually the final 4 teams, and always the final 2 teams, and always the NBA champion, have hit 40 wins before they hit 20 losses. And usually the first team to do that is the NBA champion. Now, you know what you're saying? Okay, you know what? Phil Jackson's in master, whatever you say. 17 of the last 20 NBA champions have followed the contender rule. I hit you with that number. You weren't ready for that number, but I hit you with it anyway.
You didn't write it down, so I wasn't ready for it, but I like it. I like it.
I love it. You like it, I love it.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, that's pretty great. I'm excited. I'm even more excited now. Phil Jackson, God bless your heart. I don't know what Phil Jackson's up to these days. Probably got his eyes set on another franchise to derail. But that's good. And we have been impressive throughout this season so far. I mean, it's no secret. And I think we've just kind of deduced that we're going to expect more of the same, except maybe some more continuity, some more, as we shape up, as we round into the playoffs, you and I both know it's about momentum. And I want to see our guys get some momentum on the floor together. Need that roster to congeal, to marinate, if you will, on the floor. I want to see our 5 best guys out there together. 29 minutes at this point in the season, it doesn't matter. They could have played 0 minutes together. That chemistry is still there. Those guys know each other like the back of their hands, I think that's a big thing we have going for us. It kind of ties back into the Phoenix thing. It's like, one, not only are these guys not healthy right now, but when they get back, they're still going to have to learn each other. And I know Kevin Durant's a pretty easy guy to play with, probably the most compatible superstar with other players. Doesn't matter. It's still going to take time. Devin Booker's a guy who takes a lot of shots. Chris Paul's a guy who dominates the ball. It's going to take time. Same thing with Dallas. I don't have Dallas as a real title contender, but just, they're going to be probably in the playoffs, and we're going to keep an eye on that. But I'm glad that we're not a team that's fighting to make huge moves at the deadline, because continuity is our friend. We got there last year. Hopefully our guys can get some rest, namely Tatum, while still being able to work out some of the lineup kinks. We still need to see our best five out there more. But all in all, more of the same. More of the same is what is ultimately what's coming, I feel like.
Yeah. So I think that was a pretty comprehensive update on the Celtics. Now we missed a couple weeks, so let's say we jump into a little Red Sox spring training, little teaser before the year begins. Quick little preface. We're gonna be at opening day together, you and me.
We're gonna be there.
It's gonna be exciting.
We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. We will be getting into Boston on opening day. We will be in attendance for that Orioles series. I'm excited. I'm excited because I've never seen a baseball game at Fenway. I know you have. I know you were much cuter when you did.
Thank you.
I've been to Fenway.
Thank you.
We got the picture. It was awesome to be there, to see all of it. And I think I'm going to value it that much more now, going and seeing a game there. I'm really excited. We've got some pieces. I'm hoping for a wild card. Make the playoffs for real, like actually getting to the ALDS. Wow. My heart would beat out of my chest. That's kind of where my expectations are at, which is, not great. We expect a lot more, and it would have been nice to keep Bogarts, and it would have been nice to have Trevor Story not get hurt every time he gets healthy, and it'd be nice to probably just have a better team all in all, and maybe a team that would like to spend a little bit more money. But what's your kind of end of season? Like, what do you want to see this year? Like I said, I want to see in that wild card range.
I want to see us not finish in last place in the AL East. That's number one on the wish list.
That's good.
I'd love to see us make the wild card. I want to see us improve. I want to have something to care about when I tune into Red Sox games towards the end of the season. I'd like to see us maybe make a few moves that makes us more competitive, especially looking at the bullpen, and even the rotation leaves a little bit to be desired. I want to see excitement. I want to care. I want to care about the Red Sox all year. I want to have a team that I think, no matter how much it's going to hurt me or break me, I want to have a team that at least can make me think, could we be competitive? Is there a little something here? Because last year was so incredibly obvious. We were just absolute crap. We're just a terrible, terrible baseball team. And so that's kind of my goal. It's a little bit less than yours, but it's still, I want to see that improvement.
Now I feel really ambitious. I feel like I was too ambitious.
No,
was a wild card too ambitious? We were in last place. We were in last place.
I like it. And you know what? If Story's healthy, we got Devers. We have Kenley Jansen, in case you forgot. We have Yoshida.
I like Yoshida.
You do like Yoshida.
I like Yoshida. I was looking at jerseys today. I have to like custom.
Oh,
I don't know
do
why
this to him.
Yoshida jerseys. Why are we not getting Yoshida jerseys, dude? Come on, dude.
Because they're trying to keep it away from you.
I'm excited. We got Turner. We got Redbeard. That was kind of an or I'm not going to call it underrated, but it was a quiet pickup. Probably quiet for a reason. I'm excited. I mean, I've been so indulged in baseball the past, we've always followed baseball, but the last 2 years of MLB TV, and I'm watching 100 games a year. Like, I'm sitting down, maybe I'm grabbing a brew, but I'm watching a game. And I'm watching a lot of Red Sox games, and I'm going to do that whether we're good or bad. If we're bad, I'll probably watch less, but I'm going to watch a lot of baseball, and I'm going to watch a lot of Red Sox, and I just want to root for, I want to feel a connection to this team, which is really hard to do, by the way, because we let Christian Vasquez go. We let Xander Bogaerts go. Thank God we kept Devers.
Yeah.
Is he on the team in 3 years? I don't know. I hope. He's locked up for that, but I don't know, dude. Maybe John Henry is like, in 3 years, he's like, I'm sick of paying this contract, and trades a MVP in Rafael Devers. But I had asked you before the show just to kind of come up with just one thing. Maybe it's one player, maybe a trend, one thing you're really looking forward to for this Red Sox season. I've got mine. Want you to kind of lead us on there.
I'm really excited to see Devers. I'm waiting for his big home run. I'm waiting for him to crack 40. And so I'd love to see that happen this year. I think that'd be really awesome. But in terms of this season also, I think I'm very excited to see Yoshida play. I've heard a lot about him. I've never watched him play the game of baseball in my life. And I know he was sensational over in Japan. And I'm excited to see what he can do, what he can bring to the team, and how his game translates over to MLB. I'm very excited. Hope I'm not disappointed. And it could be really good. It could be fun.
I'm so excited for Yoshida. You know that. I saw a post and he got buried on it a little bit. I think it was like ESPN. It was one of those analytics posts. Like, it was projected batting average for the upcoming season. And in the entire American League, they had Yoshida as the projected leader in batting average in the entire American League at like 300. Yeah, I don't know about that. I would welcome it. I would welcome a batting king, a silver slugger. I was reading a lot about Yoshida today, just kind of getting ready for the weekend. A lot of anonymous executives are kind of burying the Red Sox for it. And, I think that's kind of a dirty play. Like, just, let's throw dirt on the Red Sox while they're down. Understandable. But there's maybe fair concerns. I don't know how much defense he's actually going to bring. He is 29 and he's just now coming over. I've got my concerns, but I do also hold a true, just a ton of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I really want to see something from the pitching, and I really want to see I really want Tanner Huck. He's been with us for years now. I don't know how to say his name. I want to see him grow. We can't count on Chris Sale. You know that. We've never been able to count on when we had David Price in here, we couldn't count on him. These guys we bring in, I love Tanner Huck so much, or Houck. He's got the tattoos. He looks like a total badass every time he takes them out. And he had such great moments in spots, but is he a reliever or is he a starter? Because Lord knows we need a starting pitcher, an ace. And maybe just the staff as a whole. Nick Pivetta launched out of a freaking cannon last year, and then I picked him up in fantasy. Maybe that's on me. And he just kind of stunk up the place for the remainder of the season from that point on. So I guess as a whole, I want to see the Red Sox pitching staff find some direction. I'm not asking for a Cy Young winner, but can we just find some direction going forward, because we have not had that in a long time. Since we had Josh Beckett, and since we had guys like John Lester throwing some good names at you.
Hit me with that Clay Buckles.
Oh, Clay Buckles, baby.
Do something. Is that doing something?
Clay Buckles.
All right.
He's the reason that I think all of us wanted to wear like those really thick baseball necklaces. Remember those? Like,
I got pictures with him.
I know. Were you a double stacker? Did you ever double stack?
I was known to double stack a time or two. Not as much as James and Joe did, but
you dabbled.
I dabbled. I dipped my toes.
You dabbled with it. All right. And I respect it. I
appreciate that.
We need to find an old baseball photo of you. We'll find a couple. Remember, you know about the baseball photo with me with the stash. Remember that? It was hanging in my house.
I do. Yes, I do.
I got the scary mustache.
Yup.
It's iconic. Maybe we'll share those to the page. I don't know about it. I'm still thinking.
And now I have the scary mustache.
You have the scary everything going on, man.
Thanks, man.
You're a scary guy. Not a guy I'd want to see in a dark alley. Well, wouldn't want to run into you in Austin, Texas at night.
You never know where I might be. I'm always around the corner. Never too far. Never too far. Speaking of,
that is true.
I think you might have a date with a certain 2K squad coming up. Am I remember that right? A little Knicks versus Rugrats action, something like that. A little Maroto,
a little Knicks versus PSG.
Yeah, Tyson Chandler. Something like that.
I'm not scared of Tyson Chandler. I'm not scared of Tyson.
You should be.
I picked up a new card.
Every time.
I already forgot. He doesn't work me. He's got one faulty win against me when I was having a mental breakdown while playing. Okay, I was having a breakdown and I kind of let you back into the game, and then I don't know what happened. I just remember it finished and I was like, oh, the third quarter's over.
Tell yourself.
No,
tell yourself.
Mental lapse. You got one on me. You got an easy one on me. Okay.
For those still
listening,
run it reference, we're talking about NBA 2K23, my team. You collect cards and then you play. It's basketball.
They know what it is.
Hope so. You never know.
Hey, just want to point out, you don't have any Celtics players on my team roster, so you're a fake fan.
I used to.
Got him there.
Sam Hauser. I had Sam Hauser once.
You did have Sam Hauser. All right. Summary of today. Don't crown Phoenix the champs. We're still here. The All-Star game is terrible. We still have no idea. After talking about it for like 20 minutes, we're still lost as to how to fix it. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you guys are effing awesome. Keep doing your thing. Big remainder of the season for the Celtics coming, and a lot of question marks on the Red Sox, but you already knew that.
You ready? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Splash. I've been your host, Ryan, with my lovely brother and co-host, partner in crime, Spencer Galloway. If you made it this far, be sure to leave us a 5-star review. I noticed today on the screen in class, we have 9 reviews on Apple. Let's get it to 10. Let's do it. Let's do our thing.
We need to get those numbers up.
We got to get our numbers up.
We need to get those numbers.
It's time to show them. But regardless, thank you so much. We are the Splash audience 100 strong. Love all of you each and individually. And we will see you back next week. As always, this episode was brought to you by Continued Theater Tradition. Be sure to check it out on our social media page. And you've all been lovely. We will see you next week. Good night.